Welcome to Benefits and Challenges of Hiring Veterans. We're delighted to be here. It's very exciting. I'm particularly excited to be able to partner with Tori on this as well. So to get us started, because we don't have all that much time, my name is Michelle Senna, and I am a senior recruiter with CareerSource. I am part of the business services team, and we all partner certainly very closely with different teams, and in particular with the veterans team. Love the veterans team. Big fan. And to share a little bit more detail, about myself. I've been with the organization in total for 8 years, and my background prior was as a corporate recruiter, working in big pharma and management consulting, and helping to build organizations, big companies. Made the transition down here about 15 years ago and worked in the treatment industry, so a little bit different, and then returned to my roots in recruiting. What I love about CareerSource is it blends the ability to help people and also to build companies. I was our corporate recruiter for several years, and so certainly understand the inner workings of CareerSource. And now I tend to work on a more uh, I, I still continue to work on a vast majority of positions, but I tend to do a lot of work in nonprofit myself, assisting organizations entry level through C-suite. So with that, enough out of me. I spoke for a minute, trying not to take too much time. I'd like to introduce my colleague, Tori Renza. She is going to talk to you in a little more detail in a Q&A format here to help all those on the call with learning a little bit more about what she does as a leaver, but also the broader team in general and some of the challenges that they go through in hiring vets. And as a business services team member, I'm working with employers all the time, and Tori does as well, trying to service the veteran community and the employers the best way possible. So take it away, Tori.
Hi, good morning. So my name is Tori Renza. I am a U.S. Navy veteran. I served active duty during Operation Iraqi Freedom, and then I did some time in the Air Force Reserves during Operation Enduring Freedom. Since leaving the service, I've been very involved in veteran services, volunteering with veteran organizations. That's how I came to find out about this position. This is the JVSG program, which is the Jobs for Veterans State Grant Program. It is funded through the Department of Labor by Florida Commerce. So I work for Florida Commerce, and in my role, I am a business account manager. So what that looks like is I go out to the community. I connect with employers. I seek employers that want to hire veterans, as well as creating job opportunities for veterans in the community. And then on the other side of the coin, I am a veteran employment representative as well as case managing veterans. So I work with veteran job seekers who are either new to the job market, they are maybe transitioning, they recently were laid off, things of that nature. So I just kind of like fill in the gaps. I see where I could provide support. I get them ready to return to the job market or transition into a new role. And then I connect them with employers. So I advocate for the veteran on their behalf with the employer clients that I work with as well. So that's just kind of like a gist of what me and the JVSG team do. So we have leavers, which are local veteran employment representatives, and then we have DVOPs, which are disabled veteran outreach program specialists. So we basically work with the veteran job seeker from the beginning to the end to just ensure that they are successful in finding employment.
Excellent. And I'd like to take a moment to brag on Tori. Tori was, excuse me, Tori has just received the accolade of DevOps slash Lever Consolidated Veteran of the Year. So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
So Tori, could you elaborate really on the specific ways, in a little more detail, that the Veterans Department supports vets in their job search and career development? So
Oh,
you did a great job with the intro, but if you could be a little more specific for those on the call, that would be awesome.
sure. So within the JVSG program, the veteran staff, we're very client focused. We don't just ask what type of work they're looking for, what their salary requirements are. We build rapport with the veteran. We encourage them to be open, and transparent in disclosing any barriers they may have. Barriers are anything that might be justice related or anything that would prevent them from attaining and maintaining meaningful employment. So we emphasize that the staff is here to support them, to assist them in meeting their career goals. But we also, let the client know that it is a dual effort. And the more that they put into the program, the more that we are able to help them. So some specific actions that we take are we break down best practices for resumes, right? We use tools like AI to make sure that our veteran job seekers are standing out within overly saturated industries. Systems and organizations that use like ATS, which is the applicant tracking system. We want to ensure that our clients are not just another cog in the machine like they were in the military. We want to make sure that their application and the resumes are being seen. Recently separated service members, or those that we feel could benefit from a resume workshop. We send them over to the resume workshop, and they have career counselors who are phenomenal. They treat our veteran clients super well. They help them set up like a very heavy content resume to best highlight their knowledge, their skills, all of their abilities. We've even had like some more mature veteran job seekers who might have been in a position for maybe 30 years and they've never have had to update their resume. So they certainly benefit from a resume workshop. And then, of course, we have final looks. We give in input where we can, and we always want to make sure that they are highly attractive to the employers that we're working with, as well as any employers, they find on LinkedIn, Indeed, any of those job boards as well. We encourage our job seekers, the more applications, the better. As I mentioned, the job market is heavily, heavily saturated. So many eggs, many baskets, right? So that increases their chances of being picked, right? Let's see, we also can do like mock interviews with them if they apply for a position, if they're called back for an interview. We do things like uh, set up a mock interview where we use like the STAR method, right? Give an example of a situation. What was the task like that you had to do? What was the action that you had to take? What was the result of that situation in your previous job where it was successful? Like highlight those things. And when I interviewed for this position, it was Michelle actually who taught me that, and I had never used or even knew about an interview method like that. And I felt like that was so beneficial and so helpful. And helped me land this position. So kudos to Michelle, right? Like I took that bit of information and like I still use it now for my clients and it's been very successful. We also encourage our veteran job seekers to look up employees on LinkedIn, look up the mission statement, right? Look up anything on the internet that might be beneficial for them to use and bring up in the middle of the interview, especially if you find the employer and they were also in the army and my veteran job seeker that's interviewing was also in the army. It's like, oh, wow, during Operation Desert Storm, or when I was deployed, or when I was stationed in my previous job as a, you know, dental technician in the Army. Like, this is what I did as well. And right there, my client has a connection with the employer. And usually, veterans, we want to hear from other veterans. We're like, wow, we can obviously trust this person because they've been through the same thing that I've been through, or a similar situation that I've been through. So that allows, increases our chances in having a successful outcome in that interview. We also encourage our veteran job seekers, after they apply, after they have their interview, to follow up with the employer, to express continued interest, to check up on the status of their application. Maybe the employer is super swamped with other candidates, and if the veteran job seeker comes in, they're like, oh, wow, this person's really still interested in the position. Let me make the time to schedule another interview, to bring them on board, to further consider, right? So we always encourage them to do those things. And I think it's also important to have our clients be pragmatic about their applications and the type of positions that they are seeking. We want them to consider any risks or deterrents that might make it difficult for them to maintain that position. If they are currently seeking a master's, if they have a heavy academic schedule or an academic load, if they have children in childcare, we want them to be cognizant of those things. Many of our clients are so desperate to get back into the job market, and sometimes they forget about these things, or they say, oh, I can navigate those challenges. And then, 2 months later, they are put into a position where they're not able to maintain that job. So we want to ensure retention, right? And we want to be sure that our veteran isn't dismayed because they no longer can be in a position that we worked so hard, to help them get in. So, those are just some little things that we do as a staff to get them prepared to re-enter the job market, um, get an interview, and also secure meaningful employment.
Um, Dive a little bit deeper here. I always say Career Source is the best kept secret in Palm Beach County, so I'm going to talk about something else. Funding. So, Tori, additionally, what funding opportunities are available to really bridge that gap, to help facilitate veteran training, veteran skill building that they might need? So, if you could speak to that, that would be great.
Absolutely. So, currently we have a in-house Careers for Veterans state grant program. So that allows a veteran job seeker to receive additional training and support services in order to increase their social upward mobility. So, what does that mean? If we have a client that was maybe like a combat engineer, or a CB, right? They did construction in the military, and they decide that they want to be a driver when they get out. We help them receive funding for completing their CDL training. If they were a medical professional in the Navy, for example, and a lot of these things don't translate to the civilian job market, we will assist them by providing funding to become a dental technician, like I mentioned, as well as a nurse practitioner, or get any certification that might help them, secure a position that they have relative experience and skills for, but they just need like that license. For example, a lot of our veterans are psychology majors, they experience um, situations, barriers, circumstances upon leaving the military, but they recover from those issues and they decide, wow, I would love to like maybe be a peer support specialist because I can help other veterans with issues like addiction, depression, anxiety. I can speak to these things. So we have funding for, peer support specialists, and things like that. I mean, we have hundreds and hundreds of programs that you can, go onto our website, careersourcepbc.com, look for Careers for Veterans grants, and look for any of those programs that we might cover. And as well as being enrolled into those programs, we also provide support services. So what do those things look like? That's getting our clients assistance with childcare for 3 months through the Early Learning Coalition, while they are able to, save some money and maybe do their own research to find childcare elsewhere, or even find an employer that has that sort of benefit. We also provide things like gas cards if they need assistance while they are job searching, to get on the bus. We help them. We print them out a bus schedule. If they need to get to an interview, if they need to go to their VA appointment so they can maintain their physical, mental, and emotional health while they're also job searching, we have support services for those things as well. And we also encourage them, out of house. We have things like on LinkedIn, certifications and things like that, which are all free for veterans to use. And also, veterans and military service members, they have access for, I believe, up to a year of LinkedIn Premium to also assist them in their professional development and job searching as well.
Wonderful. There was one example, and maybe you can elaborate. I'd heard of a story of one of the veterans. It was really heartwarming, who needed tools. And I don't know if you know the specifics of that particular client, but if you would share that, I think it's really impactful.
Sure, I believe that was actually Stacy Hayden's client, and she's our grant manager. So the client had experienced some issues upon leaving the service, and he was in a economically disenfranchised situation. So while he was going to training, he was able to have a secure funding for him so he could replace the tools that he had lost. I believe he had to actually sell his tools to just have like some quick financial assistance, right? So he had to make that difficult decision. But we were able to come in and while he was training, provide him tools, and he was ready to return to the job market upon completion of training. So that also includes things like uniforms, that also includes things like books. And in the event, you need a laptop, anything that is going to make you competitive in our ever growing like technology affiliated job market and society, we definitely have resources for that as well.
Okay. So one thing I'd like to throw out to you, Tori, is in your opinion, what unique skills, perspectives, qualities do veterans contribute to the workplace, which really, sets them apart from other candidates? As a recruiter, I love working with vets. I just love the fact that, you volunteer your service and their time. But in your opinion and in your experience, what do you see that sets them apart?
Sure. In that regard, I do want to say, a lot of our veterans have very similar qualities to civilian job seekers, right? Attention to detail, time management, being punctual, right? Being mature, just like getting to the job on time, right? But I do believe that veterans have unique characteristics that do set them apart, and that is attributed to their military service. So what are like some of those traits? Definitely like their ability to pivot, in real time, right? Their ability to react in real time, their ability to deal with like levels of high stress. Like they have things coming at them from so many directions, like timelines, right? And responsibilities, and they are juggling multiple tasks throughout the day, through the weeks, through the months, as well as dealing with different personalities, right? In the military, we have a kind of way of being with each other where we're a little bit more. blunt, I would like to say, right? We are just very stoic. We are just very like quick to the point, and we don't take that personal, right? We have like a mission that we need to accomplish. We have something that we need to do, and we are not going to take like attitudes or like microaggressions personally, right? Like at the end of the day, we are all on the same team and we all want to meet the same objective. So I do think that that particular quality, reacting in real time, dealing with difficult personalities, and completing tasks in a timely manner, like I believe that is what sets us apart from the civilian workforce.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Um, what what guidance would you offer vets that are transitioning into civilian careers, especially those encountering challenges in the hiring process? It can be such a challenge, right? It's such a different world, and you've um, eloquently listed out, some of those attributes that veterans have, and it's a very structured environment, and it's different and can be challenging for those returning into the civilian workforce. So, what guidance would you offer veterans?
Absolutely. And this is like a really great question. Thank you for bringing this up because it's something that I personally had to deal with when, I left the service, being in active duty, being, war related situations, right? And then coming into a very like calm, everything is okay situation, right? Like upon leaving the service, like life is so different. Initially I was like always on pins and needles, like waiting for like the other shoe to drop. And it took me a very long time to realize and learn and really like harness like patience, and not just patience with myself, but like patience with other people, patience with my teachers when I went back to college, patience with my fellow like students when I was sitting in a classroom and I felt like they could not I could not relate, right? Like, and why couldn't they relate? Like, why can't they understand me? And it's like, well, my dear, they had a completely different life, a completely different upbringing, right? And we are very young while we're still in the service. We are still psychologically developing, so while we are in the military, we are accustomed, we get used to certain situations and we think like it's okay. Like I talk about those high like levels of stressful environments, but when you come out and you're in a class, when you're at a job, like it's not like that. And like breathe that in, like be grateful, be thankful that we survived that. We did what we had to do. And like now we get to move forward in our lives. We get to learn. We get to contribute. We get to be productive adult members of societies. And like all the skills and maybe some of like the burdens that we encountered from being in the service, let's soften those things and turn them into positive, productive attributes that will help us, moving forward. So definitely like being tolerant of other people and also being kind to ourselves, being empathetic to ourselves, and just really like loving ourselves because at least we made it back. A lot of our friends did not. And we have to like move forward for those people. So just be patient, be tolerant, and just really remember to love yourself too as well. So
Beautiful. Thank you. One last question. We're right on time. Um, your insight, of course, is so valuable. So thank you for providing all of this. It's great. With our annual Paychecks for Patriots job fair, which is coming up very quickly, it's almost November, right? There it is. Coming up on November 6th, could you share and what attendees can expect from the event, the types of opportunities available for veterans?
Sure, absolutely. So the event is sponsored by the Department of Labor. It is veteran focus for transitioning service members, veterans, their spouses, their family members. And basically, it's a hiring initiative, right, to encourage our veterans and their families to get out and see what employers are going to be there, what other work opportunities are going to be there. A lot of these employers that we brought in, they're extremely military friendly. They want to hire veterans. They want to hire their spouses because why? Because of the attributes I mentioned earlier, and especially being with a spouse. Like, can we get a round of applause to our spouses as well who have sat at home waiting for their loved one to get back, as well as, also like, getting and gaining those attributes that the service member has. And I think that spouses also in their own right, when they return to the workforce after bearing children, raising children, dealing with constant relocations, they have patience, right? And all of those skills that our veterans have, our spouses also have. So basically that's what Paychecks for Patriots is all about. And it's just the way of saying, hey, thank you. Can we employ you? Can we help you in your social upward mobility? And that's what we do. And I love Paychecks for Patriots. I love the employers that come, and I love our job seekers that come, whether they're service members or not. Civilians matter. Civilians support us. Why do we go and join the military? For civilians, right? So it's important to remember, like, we're all in this together and we're all searching for work. And we're all here to contribute to our economy and help our families and provide for our families. So, in a nutshell, right, that's what P4P is just all about.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay. Great overview. Going to open it up again. We have 2 minutes left. Looks like we have a chat question. Let me see here. If housing is a factor in attaining employment, do you have the contact information of an organization that would assist with that?
Absolutely. So we definitely it depends on the situation, right? We have HUD-VASH, which assists veterans with providing them like a voucher to secure housing. We also work with other community partners to assist veterans in first time home buying, things of that nature. We also work with Wounded Veterans Relief Fund and other external veteran organizations like Mission United that will provide assistance funding for like maybe first month, last month, security deposit, things of that nature. If you want to send me an email and I can send you those resources, that is trenza at careersourcepbc.com, and I will go ahead and write that in the chat. So you have my email.
Okay, well, thank you everyone so much for participating, and thank you, Tori. And hopefully we'll see everybody at P4P.